9 things you should never share after 55. Protect your dignity and peace. Part 1. A quiet power. What grows stronger with age? At age 55 to 75, life enters a new chapter. This is no longer a race for recognition or success. It's the time to live more honestly, with yourself and what truly matters. Here's an overlooked truth. Keeping certain things private is a kind of strength. Not because there's something to hide, but because the most sacred parts of life, our beliefs, emotions, dignity, hold their power when they're protected. We live in an age where everything is shared online, from lunch photos to personal struggles. But just because others are doing it doesn't mean you have to follow. In fact, keeping precious things to yourself can actually make you freer, calmer, and more respected. This video isn't just a list of things to keep secret. It's a deeper journey about preserving your dignity, avoiding unnecessary drama, and living fully in the most meaningful stage of life. Let's begin with the first one, your age. Part 2, your age. Why it's just a number, not an identity. How old are you? A question that seems harmless, but can open the door to silent judgment. Why keep your real age private between 55 and 75? Because a number can overshadow who you are. It invites assumptions that you're outdated, slow with technology, or worse, nearing the end of usefulness. But growing older doesn't mean becoming less valuable. On the contrary, this is when you carry the most life experience and clarity. A true story. A 63-year-old woman once interviewed for a consulting role. She impressed everyone with her sharp insights and confident demeanor. But when she casually mentioned her age, something shifted. People started questioning her energy, her longevity. Nothing about her changed, except their assumptions. The takeaway: let people judge you by your presence, not your years. Keeping your age to yourself isn't about shame. It's about choosing how you're seen, on your terms. Let age become your quiet strength, not your label. Part 3. Money. The freedom of financial privacy. Money is a sensitive topic at any age, but between 55 and 75, it can bring more complications than clarity. You may be financially comfortable, or still catching up. Either way, sharing too much can trigger judgment, jealousy, or expectations. A familiar situation. If you're well off, people may start expecting help. If you're struggling, you may be pitied, or unfairly blamed. A real-life example. A 70-year-old man downsized his home to live more peacefully. A relative found out and spread the news, making it sound like failure. In reality, he was happier than ever, but to others, his story became a symbol of decline. Why keep your finances private? To avoid being taken advantage of. To protect your dignity, whether rich or modest. Because your value isn't measured by wealth, but by your integrity. Remember the saying, real wealth whispers. Let your financial life be your own business, and enjoy the freedom that comes with it. Part 4. Family matters. What happens at home? Stays at home. Every family has its complexities. Tensions, misunderstandings, and old wounds don't disappear with time. But sharing them with outsiders often does more harm than good. Why protect your family's privacy? To prevent unnecessary gossip or judgment. To maintain trust among relatives. Because outsiders rarely see the full picture. A real-world example. A 68-year-old woman often vented about her daughter-in-law to neighbors. Over time, those stories spread. When her daughter-in-law found out, the relationship fractured, perhaps beyond repair. What to do instead? Keep conflicts within the family where healing can happen. Speak to a counselor if needed, but not the entire community. Protect the dignity of loved ones, even during hard times. Keeping family matters private isn't secrecy, it's respect. Part 5. Health and medications. You are not your diagnosis. At this age, health becomes a bigger part of daily life. But that doesn't mean every detail must be shared. Why hold back on medical talk? People might offer unsolicited advice. Some helpful, some not. You may be seen as your illness, not your full self. See, example, a 66-year-old man casually mentioned his diabetes at a party. From that day on, every meal came with a flood of dietary advice. Much of it wrong, all of it tiring. He no longer felt seen as a person, just a patient. Suggestion: share your health status only when necessary. With doctors, close caregivers, or someone you deeply trust. Your health is part of your story, but it doesn't define your worth. Part 6, Romance and Intimacy. Quiet love is still love. Even in later years, connection and intimacy are deeply human needs, but society often ignores or even mocks love after 60. That's why privacy matters more than ever. Real story: a 61-year-old widow found love again. At first, she shared her joy with friends, only to face jokes, disbelief, and condescension. It turns something beautiful into something awkward. Why keep love private? To protect something sacred from the world's noise. To avoid judgment from those who misunderstand. Because your happiness doesn't need external approval. Advice: let your relationship be your safe space. No one else needs to understand it, as long as it brings you peace. Mature love doesn't need an audience. It only needs two people who truly see each other. Part 7, Giving Quietly. Generosity without the spotlight. Helping others is a beautiful act, but when generosity becomes a performance, its meaning can fade. Why keep your charity private? To avoid pressuring others to give. To protect the dignity of those receiving help. Because real kindness needs no applause. Example: a 70-year-old man secretly sponsored a student's tuition for years. The child only learned the truth after graduating. No fanfare, just quiet, lasting impact. Let your kindness ripple in silence. The best giving often goes unseen, but never unfelt. Part 8, Personal Achievements. Let your actions speak. By this age, you've probably accomplished a great deal. Career success, family, community service. But repeating your past glories too often can weaken their impact. Why downplay achievements? So others don't feel small around you. To let people see your wisdom today, not just who you used to be. Because true confidence doesn't shout. Inspiring example: a retired professor never mentioned his title, but his former students spoke of him with deep respect. He believed, if you have to say it, it's already lost its power. Celebrate your past, but let it stay in the background. People will see your greatness in how you live now. Part 9, Old Wounds and Private Beliefs. Protecting your inner peace. We all carry pain, rejections, betrayals, regrets. But retelling those stories endlessly can keep the hurt alive. Why let go quietly? To give yourself room to heal. To avoid being seen only through your scars. Because not all pain needs an audience. Likewise, your personal beliefs, a mantra, a prayer, a guiding phrase, are deeply personal. Sharing them with the wrong people can dilute their meaning. Advice: keep some things sacred. Your soul needs a quiet place to rest. What comforts you doesn't need to be explained. It only needs to be true for you.